turn in Chicago soy oil spilled over to weigh on prices. Canola down $3 to $4. The May contract down $4.20 at $653.90 per ton. That contract had traded as much as $10 or $11 per ton higher in overnight activity. Uncertainty ahead of U.S. tariffs set to come into effect next week did account for some of today's activity. Meanwhile, Malaysian palm oil was up overnight, but Chicago soy oil and European rapeseed futures were both lower. The May canola contract had moved above its key 20-day moving average after falling below that key chart level yesterday, but it's failing to hold on to gains today. Canada did export about 175,000 tons of canola in the latest weekly reporting period. That was in line with what moved the previous week. But year-to-date exports at just over 6 million tons are nearly double what moved by the same time a year ago. That seemed confirming ideas the market does need to ration demand going forward. In the U.S., most markets are moving lower. Soybeans had initially found continued support from yesterday's acreage estimates from the USDA that saw the agency predict a 3 million acre cut to U.S. soybean plantings this spring. However, beans ran into resistance with the downturn in soy oil, pulling prices lower. The May soybean contract down 4 cents at $10.32 per bushel. The advancing Brazilian harvest and improving moisture conditions in Argentina contributed to the declines, as did the uncertainty over what the looming U.S. tariffs and likely retaliation will mean for the market. Corn continued to be pressured by expectations for increased U.S. acres. Yesterday, the USDA projected U.S. corn plantings at 94 million acres, up by about 3.5 million from last year. The May corn contract down 5 cents at $4.76 per bushel. Wheat is mixed, although the bias lower in most months, seeing some consolidation after posting sharper losses for most of the week. Minneapolis spring wheat down 2 cents in the May contract at $6.02 per bushel. Kansas City hard red winter wheat down 5 cents in May at $5.80 per bushel. But Chicago soft wheat 0.75 cents higher in the May contract at $5.63 and a quarter. France's wheat crop was pegged at 73% good to excellent, losing 1 point on the week. That's a look at the ICE futures and U.S. markets for Friday, February 28th. In Winnipeg, for marketsfarm.com, I'm Phil Franz Warkentin.
For over 35 years, they've been your go-to for quality farm and snow removal equipment, and they should also be your go-to for parts. At Butler Farm Equipment, they have a fully stocked parts department with a wide selection of batteries, oil, pins, bushings, antifreeze, bearings, belts, pulleys, sprockets, and more. Plus specific OEM parts from New Holland, Schulte, Toro, and Gravely. Butler Farm Equipment. Over 35 years of great service in the Peace region. Visit butlerfarmequipment.ca.
The opinions expressed on this show do not represent those of the station. If you've missed any of the shows, you can follow the podcast at Energeticcity.ca. Welcome to This Week in the Peace, a show dedicated to the people, events, and news of BC's Peace region. Here's your hosts, Dub Craig and Steve Berard.
Good morning and welcome to the show. A little later on, I'll be catching up with Fort St. John Public Library's Director of Library Services, Matthew Rankin. Tomorrow, the library is celebrating 75 years of operation in Fort St. John, so we'll dig into a bit of the history of the library, as well as some of the celebrations planned for this year.
But first, registration is open right now for the Fort St. John Hospital Foundation's annual Bluey Day fundraiser, shaving heads to support cancer treatment in our community. We've brought in the foundation's Executive Director, Kelly Amboe, to tell us a bit about the event. Kelly, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Steve.
More than happy to have you. So, to start, for people who maybe they're new to the community, can you tell me a little bit about what Bluey Day is and kind of the history of it?
Well, okay, I'll start with the history. The history of Bluey Day, it originally started in 1995 in Australia, and it was started by emergency responders, and that's why it has the name Bluey Day. It has always been a cancer fundraiser. So in 1999, Constable Kevin Colt brought it here to Fort St. John. And the Hospital Foundation has been hosting Bluey Day ever since. And so we're 26 years in.
Okay, for sure. So tell me a bit about why Bluey Day is so important for the Hospital Foundation. Tell me a bit about why it's important to people here in Fort St. John. Any like stories you've heard from participants, things like that.
Yeah. The Bluey Day is so important to the Fort St. John and the Fort St. John Hospital Foundation, as it really helps support cancer diagnostic treatment and here in the community. So so many people have to travel for extensive medical care, and being close to our family and our friends is very important in our healing process, in how we feel about the process, and even it greatly reduces your costs. So if we can bring more essential diagnostics and treatment here to the community, less people have to travel outside of the community for that treatment.
For sure, absolutely. So walk me through sort of what the process looks like in the lead up to Bluey Day. For people who want to participate, for people who want to donate, what do they have to do in the coming weeks?
Okay, for sure. So to start off, if you want to participate with Bluey Days, we ask that you register. And through registering, we can help promote your campaign. You'll get an online platform that you can share with people. You'll be able to both accept donations in person and digitally. And you have from now until the Bluey Day event, which is May 24th, to raise as much funds as you can. On May 24th, we gather all the Bluey Day participants in a celebration block party. It'll be hosted at Centennial Park this year. And there you will have your head shaved on the stage, and in recognition of your support to the community.
Okay, awesome. So what's the goal for this in terms of like monetary amount? How much are we trying to bring in here?
Our goal is $100,000. And this year we are looking at purchasing new chairs for the cancer center in the hospital.
Okay.
These chairs are automatic recliners, much more comfortable for the people who have to endure long treatments and are sitting there for hours, as well as they have enhanced safety features for medical staff to be able to do things if a patient needs intervention.
Okay, awesome. So $100,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the goal every year, right?
Yes.
Okay. So to give some context of what a year at Bluey Day can look like, how did last year's event go and what did that money go towards?
Last year's event went amazing. We ended up with just over 30 shavers, and we raised $125,000. That money went towards the MRI coil, which is now up and functional in the hospital. And this was a body MRI coil.
Okay. For people who maybe aren't familiar with the technology behind this, can you tell me a bit about what that kind of machine is?
So the MRI coil does a body scan, and this one was an 18 coil. So that was enhanced image quality, which is essential for not having those callbacks, one scan being able to do your whole torso, and just less on the medical system and less on the patients.
Okay, for sure. Absolutely. So looking at this here, registration opened earlier this month, last week, if I remember right.
Yes.
Have people been signing up already? Do you have any numbers on that? Anything like that?
I believe we have 4 participants already signed up.
Awesome.
A few new ones and a few long-term ones, which is exciting.
Awesome. Yeah. So let's go over really quickly the hard details. This is happening in May. What day in May? Where is this happening? If people want to donate, how can they go about doing that?
Okay. So May 24th.
Okay.
At Centennial Park. The event will most likely run between 9 a.m. and 2, depending on how many shavers we get. We may have to extend the time. And you can donate by visiting the Hospital Foundation's Facebook page, our website page, or being generous to any Bluey Day participant out there, which we will be sharing both on the radio, social media, and other ways.
Okay, awesome. Are there deadlines for registration, deadlines for donation, anything like that?
No, we ask that people who are going to participate sign up earlier. That way we can better support them. But we'll totally, if you show up at Bluey Day and you're like, I'm in, I've raised some money, and I want to shave my head, we will not turn you away. Okay,
awesome. Now, we talked about where the money is going this year. For people who want to help out, but they don't have money, and maybe they don't want to shave their head, maybe they're like Dub, they're already bald. How can they volunteer? Are there other ways they can help out?
Yeah, reach out to the Hospital Foundation. We, it being a block party, we do need volunteers to help us set up for the event and take down and help us host the event.
Okay, for sure. I think we've covered all of the questions that we had regarding Bluey Day here. Is there anything else you want to add about the event while we've still got you right now? I know that we were talking, myself and Dub, about a community 50-50 that's going on. You want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, we are on the last 2 weeks of our community 50-50, and currently the jackpot's at $5,000. So
awesome. Wow.
Yeah, it's your chance to win a lottery within the community, and you help healthcare in the process.
For sure. So it's $5,000 jackpot. And where is that money going towards right now? The money that's going to the hospital?
The Hospital Foundation. It's not earmarked for anything particular, but It's always going to go towards equipment that improves the hospital.
So we're in the last couple of weeks. What's the actual day that it's being drawn?
March 14th.
March 14th. And how can people get in touch to buy tickets?
They could call us or visit both our Facebook page and our website.
Okay, perfect. I think we've gone over everything on my list. Is there anything else you want to add?
Thank you for Moose for having me here.
For sure. Absolutely. Always more than happy to have you. That was Kelly Amboe from the Fort St. John Hospital Foundation. Bluey Day is again on May 24th at Centennial Park. We'll be right back with Dub's conversation with Matthew Rankin on This Week in the Piece.
Make the best decisions for your life with the help from Janot Notaries. Strengthening the Fort St. John community, the team at Janot Notaries are here to guide you through the process of real estate transfers, wills and estate planning, and of course, notarizations. They have been serving the community for the past 7 years and invite you to come and see them at their new location on 101st Avenue in the Janot building across from the old hospital with plenty of parking. Learn more at fsjnotary.com. Help create positive and long-lasting impacts in Fort St. John and the surrounding area. The Child Development Center is currently involved in a large capital campaign in order to purchase and renovate a home that will provide additional programming and supports for children and youth with specific needs in the region. The goal for the campaign is to raise $500,000. Sponsorships opportunities are available, including naming of the home, rooms, and other various recognition options. For more information and to donate, please visit cdcfsj.ca.
Attention all Peace Region energy workers. Great Canadian Oil Change salutes your hard work and dedication to powering our communities. They know you depend on your vehicles to keep you going, so when it's time for service, trust Great Canadian Oil Change. They proudly accept all fleet cards, making it convenient for you to maintain your fleet on the go. Quick, no appointment service done in about 15 minutes. Now open across the highway from Safeway and Starbucks. Convenient, trusted, expert care. Now that's a Great Canadian Oil Change.
Step into the mesmerizing world of the Sebastian Steele hypnosis experience. For over 3 decades, audiences have marveled at his masterful art of suggestion. Join the unforgettable journey on March 8th at the Lido. Prepare to be amazed as Sebastian blurs the lines of reality and imagination, leaving you in awe. Doors swing open at 7 p.m. with mind-bending experiences kicking off at 8. Secure your place in this riveting spectacle by visiting thelido.ca today.
I think my vision is deteriorating. I need an eye exam.
Go to Merwin's.
But they don't offer eye exams.
Yeah, they do now.
Merwin Optical now offers optometrist eye exams. Not only can you call or book online, but Merwin Optical takes walk-in appointments as well. For more details or to book, call 250-787-0232 or visit merwinoptical.com. Merwin Optical, serving you since 1987.
Learn more about the important issues facing Northeast BC. Every Friday at 10 a.m. live on 100.1 Moose FM, hosts Dub Craig and Steve Berard sit down with local experts on This Week in the Piece.
It's exciting to celebrate 65 years, and we're planning to do a lot of things.
We're ready for an election. I'd say we've been ready for a long time. I think Canadians are ready for that election too.
Our role as the official opposition is we want to hold them to account, and we want to make sure they're doing their job properly.
Follow This Week in the Piece wherever you get your podcasts.
Moose Country weather.
Today, a mix of sun and cloud, high of 9 degrees. Later tonight, cloudy skies and a low of 1. Tomorrow morning, chance of showers, high of 10 degrees, a mix of sun and clouds. And tomorrow night, you can expect a low of 2 degrees. On Sunday, mainly cloudy skies and 6 degrees, and Sunday night looks like there's a chance of rain, showers, or flurries. And on Sunday night, a low of -5 and a chance of rain or flurries.
You can watch this show live on Facebook. Catch the replays at Energeticcity.ca or be part of the show by texting your thoughts to the Fort City Chrysler line at 250-787-2222.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Dub Craig. The Fort St. John Public Library is celebrating its 75th birthday tomorrow. How amazing, which makes it, I believe, one of the oldest institutions in the Fort St. John area. So to talk a bit about the celebrations as well as some of the history of the library, I'm very glad to be joined this morning now by the Director of Library Services, Matthew Rankin. Matthew, welcome back to This Week in the Piece.
Thank you very much, Dub. Appreciate being here.
Thank you very much for being here. I will say quickly, just so everybody knows, if you don't, I am a library trustee. So yes. Everything above board here on this. I think I wanted to start with this one. You know, people hear library, and I still think, at least for people in my generation, maybe the kids have got it more. You think books immediately, but you don't necessarily think about all the other things that a library does other than lend books. Tell us a bit about some of all of the amazing things that the library does in the community, the services you offer.
Absolutely. So in addition to our physical collection, we now have ebooks through our Libby app. So that's ebooks, audiobooks, magazines have moved over there. We have online databases. We also have our 3D printers. So we have a bamboo carbon, which is our main one. And then we have an older MakerBot. So we have services that we provide to anyone who basically wants to. We have cognitive care kits. So that was through a partnership with Northern Health. Basically just has basic games and stuff to keep cognitive functions up. We have
this would be for kind of like the, I guess anyone who needs that. I suppose,
it can be focused on, people who are suffering from dementia, people who are suffering cognitive injuries and stuff like that. We have toolkits. We have a legal collection. Obviously, our staff are not legal experts, but we receive a grant from Law Matters every year where we're able to purchase a small collection of legal books and services, so like the tax code, stuff like that, for people to access. It's in addition to the resources that are at the law library at the courthouse. What else do we have? We have our summer outdoor collection. We have a winter outdoor collection, which is our snowshoe collection. We also have our video game collection. I actually donated from my own personal collection. Xbox 360, but we also have an Xbox Series S, 2 Switches. So that's really big with our teen nights and teen get-togethers. We've been able, with some support from our friends group, purchasing a new wooden train table for the kids area. We're also, programming-wise, Dungeons & Dragons has been a big draw. We've been able to increase it to 2 nights a month. We also received a very generous grant from the local co-op, FSJ co-op, to buy food and supplies for it.
Amazing. I mean, and I know there's more than that. Even it's a kind of even programming wise, right? The number of things you offer. You've kind of touched on it already a bit, but I think my favorite thing about the library, and I know this is a BC wide thing, is cards are free. Anyone who's a local resident of Fort St. John, and Area B and C, if I've got it right, you could sign up to have a library card. If you don't have proof of your address, there's even sort of ways around that to kind of make it work, right? And it's free. You don't have to pay for a library card to then have access to this, right?
So our funding comes from the City of Fort St. John as our main funder, along with PRD areas B and C. We also receive funding from the province, and that's to support more of the interconnected interlibrary loan stuff. As long as you're residents of the city or areas B or C, you can get a full account. If you're not a resident, you can also get what's called a custom or bridge account, which basically you're limited in the number of items you can take out, but you don't have to provide ID. And if you're looking for a full account, like we have some people who come in, they're working on, like, say, Site C. They're only going to be here 6 months, but they want to access the library. They can purchase a membership for like 6 months. So.
Yeah. And if we can, I just want to quickly, point this out as well. Public libraries in BC, there's different versions of it.
Yep.
You often think of a library as a branch of the city. You know what I mean? That's not the case. The Fort St. John Public Library is an association. So it's a little bit different. Can you talk a bit about that for a second? I know it's a huge thing to sort of...
It is. So we are, what I like to say, is kind of a quasi branch of the city and the region, because our operational funding, so the stuff that goes to keeping the lights on and paying staff, buying books, material, stuff like that, comes from those sources. So we're accountable to council, to the board of directors for PRRD, and to the province for reporting. And we work very closely with city departments, and I try to present and communicate with the city as frequently as possible. Councillor Sarah McDougall is on our board. Actually, the way that Fort St. John is set up, we're a library association, so we're one of the oldest forms of libraries in BC. Actually, as of 1994, I'm getting into the minutiae of the Libraries Act. You can't form any new ones if... I know there was a discussion actually just before I started about us becoming a municipal library, so that would be more an official part of the city. Once a library loses the association status, it has to be either a regional library or a municipal library. So what it really means is we don't have guaranteed funding every year. We do our best, obviously, to have agreements, to be accountable to council, to the people of Fort St. John and PRRD, but it's not guaranteed under our agreement. So we always appreciate donations. We deeply appreciate what council and the directors do for us. They've been very generous with supporting our programs. The CLIck program, which is basically one-on-one computer training, is supported by RAC. So, yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, let's talk about the 75th birthday and a bit of history of the library. I mean, neither of us have been around for all 75 years of this, but you've got some information you wanted to share a bit about sort of the beginning of this 75 years ago. Tell us a bit about that.
So as you mentioned at the beginning, we're celebrating our 75th birthday tomorrow. So we were founded on March 1st, 1950. Curious fact that I found out is, because I'm still relatively new to the area, is FSJ had only been founded about 3 years earlier as a village, or incorporated as a village. So there's actually only a population around 1,600. And basically the library came out of a combination of different individuals in the community. So there was, I have my notes with me. Marguerite Davies, and she headed a exploratory committee that was sponsored by the Parent-Teacher Association. And there was a lot of support and encouragement from the Royal Canadian Legion. One of our patrons, her father, Samuel Davidson, was a big figure in the Legion, and he was a strong voice in founding the library. So basically, we were founded by the province under the Libraries Act on March 1st. And we've basically been in operation fully since April 14th, 1950. But we didn't actually get a physical space until like 1951. So we're currently in the North Peace Cultural Center. So that's actually our 5th location. So we were at, I'm trying to remember, we were in the Elks Hall in the cloakroom. And then we went to a shack beside the Elks room, which a lot of notes I have said the floor was very icy. So it was, an upgrade, but, a lot of...
It was a shack without heating in the library. Okay, I love it.
So that was for 2 years. And then we went to the provincial government building. And then we moved to, I'm going to mispronounce this, I think it's the Overwaidia
Oh,
complex.
Overweighty. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Overweighty,
Mhm.
which I think is where Shoppers is now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds about right.
Yeah. And we were there the longest from 1984 to 92 prior to moving to North Beach Cultural Center.
Which we've been in basically since that opened.
Yeah,
I
so this is the
believe. Yeah.
longest place we've been in.
Incredible. And I know at some point, I think the Fort St. John North Peace Museum shared this. There was a bookmobile at some point that was
Yes.
involved with the library, which is very cool.
We also had a mascot, which don't have any notes about what the name of the mascot actually was. So if any of your listeners know and let us know, that'd be great. So I'm looking at potentially bringing that back.
Amazing.
But yeah, there's a lot of things that we are trying to do. I, as director, so I actually just celebrated my 4th year here. I started in 2021.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I'm looking at doing a lot more partnerships in the community. We're really close with SONS, which is Save Our Northern Seniors. Margaret Little is fantastic in raising knowledge and getting the seniors community together. The Fort St. John Literacy Society and in MP3, I don't know if you're aware, that's one of our former board members. He founded a group that basically is all the nonprofits.
Oh,
in,
okay.
In
Interesting.
Fort St. John, we get together once a month and have discussions and trade information and partner on stuff. So, there's a lot. I feel very lucky to be in Fort St. John because it's a very supportive community. For projects, people are very generous. Obviously, with the 75th anniversary celebration coming up, donations have been very, very nice. So I'm hoping to do more going forward, making improvements to the library space, doing more. So
Wonderful. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk tomorrow specifically. I know you've got a few things planned at the library just for tomorrow for the exact birthday. Let's start with that. Tell us about it.
Well, the main thing is we're going to get cake. I like to celebrate.
Love cake.
It was a last minute thing I came up with last year, so I wanted to be a bit more systematic this year. And we have a poster at the library that has a piece of chocolate cake on it. It may not be chocolate cake. My one staff member says if I don't get the chocolate cake that it's false advertising, but I'm going to do my best.
It will be cake of some flavor.
Of some sort.
Yes.
But yes, we'll have coffee as well, and that'll be from 1 to 5, and then I'll have a slideshow running on the TV. So the actual birthday is pretty quiet compared to May.
Yes.
Just because the weather is a bit better. There's a lot more activities going on. We obviously have the Victoria Day weekend coming up, which is when we have our celebration on the Saturday at the Lido.
And this is the 75th anniversary gala. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's invite only. But this is my first time that I'm organizing an event like this, so I'm working with a bunch of different people, see how it goes, and then we may do a larger celebration on the 80th, which will be in 2030.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've mentioned it already. Donations always very welcome to help support the library, whether it's money, sometimes books, even if you've got furniture or things. If someone's listening right now and they're like, I'd like to help out in some way, what's the best way to reach out to you to do so, Matthew?
It's you can reach me at my email, which is director@fsjpl.ca. You can also reach us and leave a message at the front line, which is 250-785-3731. And we also have our front desk email, which is circ@fsjpl.ca. So that goes directly to our front desk staff, and they pass along stuff to me if you have general questions. But in general, donations are always appreciated. The Friends of the Library have periodic book sales. They have an active book sale within the library, and then they have spring and fall book sales in the North Peace Cultural Center concourse. So that's always something we appreciate. Board games, obviously stuff that's in good condition, we would always be willing to accept. Also, if you attend one of our programs or you really enjoy using one of our services or you just like a book that you read,
always just share it on social media. That always helps us because we can use that as examples of this is how our services are serving the community, and it just builds a really nice narrative. So
absolutely. All right, Matthew. Well, thank you very much for taking a few minutes to come by today.
Thank you.
Can't wait to have a slice of cake with you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
That's Matthew Rankin with the Fort St. John Public Library. Well, that does it for the show today. A very big thank you to Kelly Amboe for joining us. And thank you, of course, for tuning in.
You can listen to this show again by checking out the podcast at Energeticcity.ca/podcasts. We'll store this and future episodes of the show there as we make them. Also, check out our other locally produced podcast, Before the Peace, as well. That's our show. I'm Steve Berard.
And I'm Dub Craig. Be well.
Join us again next Friday morning at 10 for another edition of This Week in the Peace, your weekly talk show dedicated to the people, events, and news of BC's Peace Region. Or you can listen to this podcast again at Energeticcity.